Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Gemma. I hope that you are doing really well. Hope you're all having a great day. Today's video I wanted to talk about some recent reads, two of which were physical books. One is an audiobook, which is quite rare for me. It's rare for me to find an audiobook that I really like. I'm very specific with the types of books that I can listen to because my brain is like off thinking about 1,000 other things. So let's crack straight on with that then. So the first book, I told you guys if you watched the last video that I was reading Jane Austen's Persuasion. This book is everything you would want out of a Jane Austen book. I will say that Pride and Prejudice is still my favourite Jane Austen, but I haven't read all of them yet. I still have, what do we have? Emma and Sense and Sensibility. I still have those on the shelf to read. Follow the story of Anne, and when she was a young woman, she fell in love with a young man who was not of, you know, her rank, wasn't born into the right family essentially. And so the people around her were like, you know what, you need to cut this off, even though they were very, very much in love. Long story short, he ends up quite high up in the Navy, so he gains titles and money and as a result power. So he wouldn't have been a bad match for her to marry in the first place, but those around her really discouraged her. And it's the story then of the two of them, their paths crossing again several years later, and it's this, they love each other but there's resentment there, and they're not going to say, oh, I still like you because of what happened before. I just loved it. And of course there is the letter. The letter that Captain Wentworth writes to Anne towards the end of the book, where he professes his feelings for her finally. And you know, you read books like these and it's like, read a book. When you read books like this and the effort that these gentlemen go to woo these women, and women nowadays kind of put up with a what you do in text, you know, it kind of makes you think that you were born in the wrong time period. Though to be fair, I probably would have been born into the wrong class anyway, so I wouldn't have experienced any of this. But I really did enjoy the story, and this did not disappoint at all. So I would recommend this if you are a Jane Austen fan. So next, let's talk about the Audible book that I read. Do you say you read an Audible book? And that was Miranda Hart, I Haven't Been Entirely Honest With You. Now, I adore Miranda Hart. I have been a fan since the BBC television series of the same name way back when. In fact, my kids and I discovered the show Miranda during the pandemic, and we binge watched it over and over again, and we love it. And the reason that I chose this book to listen to as an audiobook is that Miranda herself narrates it, and I think that there is something so special when it's an autobiography type book when the author is reading it themselves. I just think it adds just another layer to the whole thing. So this book very much focuses on Miranda's health struggles, and also a lot of her kind of mental struggles with accepting herself and loving herself. And so it's kind of talks about her story, but it's kind of self-helpy at the same time, which I really loved. Some people won't, but I really loved that. I know that she does have a couple of other books that I think delve more into like her actual past and her life. So this one was very, very much health focused. I loved that in the audiobook she refers to the listeners as my dear listening chums. So there's just so much of it that so mirrors the TV show that she wrote. And so it felt very much like a friend just telling you kind of their story. But also I thought it had a really important message about learning to love yourself and kind of the importance of accepting who you are. of not apologizing for who you are if you don't fit into kind of societal standards or societal norms. And I just thought that that was a really great message, because I'm sure that there are lots of us, for one reason or another, who have found ourselves feeling not good enough, or apologizing for who we are, or trying to make ourselves small to fit in with everybody else. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed learning about, she has Lyme's disease, how she got that, the impact that that's had. So the next book that I read, that was a physical book, was Wrong Time, Wrong Place by Gillian McAllister. And I have to say, the storyline of this was probably one of the best stories that I've read, the thrillers that I've read for a very long time. So we follow the story of Jen, who's got an 18-year-old son. She has a husband, and she's waiting for her son to come home from a night out, doing that thing that I'm sure a lot of mums do. I'm sure I'll be doing it in a couple of years' time when my kids start going out, is waiting up until they're home, just so that you know that they're back and they're safe. And what happens is her son is involved in an incident out on her doorstep practically, and she watches it. The police are involved, someone dies, and then she wakes up the following morning and it's the day before it happened. And she's trying to figure out whether she's going crazy, did she have a premonition, you know, what's happening, because nobody else knows that this incident happened. She then goes to sleep that night and wakes up and it's the day before again. So I want to explain this. So if the incident happened on like the 31st, she woke up and it was the 30th, then she woke up again and it was the 29th. So time was going backwards. And eventually it becomes clear that she's kind of stuck in this time loop, and there's something that she has to learn, or something that she has to change in order for what happened to not happen. And I didn't know that. When I first started reading the book, I wasn't fully aware that that was the type of book that it was. I don't know that I would have picked it up, because I'm not normally a fan of time travel type stuff. But this was just fantastic. I think it was so unique, just in how it was written. I will say that there were some of the writing style felt a little bit clunky to me sometimes, just in terms of sometimes there'd be a scene where it would be like, oh yeah, and so said this and she left. It just, some of the scenes ended quite abruptly and I was like, oh okay, next one. But it is good writing. It was just like odd bits, but that's me being a bit pernickety, I think, because the writing overall is very good. The story is fantastic. The characters all linked in together. It was just all seamless. Just a really fantastic book. So if you like thrillers, this is the one that you need to check out if you haven't already, because you know I'm not always up to date with new releases. So, and right now I am reading The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, which I have never read, never watched the movie. I don't know whether I'm one of the few people on the planet that hasn't read it or watched it. So I've only just started this, so in the next video I will let you know what I think of it. But so far I'm enjoying it. A mysterious millionaire and his tragic obsession reveals the darkness at the heart of the glittering jazz age. Nobody throws a party like Jay Gatsby, whose Long Island mansion buzzes day and night with riotous crowds of bright young things. But Gatsby is always alone in the crowd, silently longing for the one thing he cannot have, and eventually this yearning will destroy him. So I'm looking forward to finishing that one. I think I need to put together a collection of kind of spring, summery type books, especially now the weather's nice. There's nothing I love more than sitting outside in the sunshine and getting into a good book. So if you have any recommendations, I would love to hear them. Do you know what would have been a good one that I can see up there? The Women. That would have been a great book to read in the summer. Maybe I'll go and reread that, but I don't know. I don't know that I'm emotionally strong enough to reread that one, because that one really got me. So that is everything for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you enjoy this type of content, please consider hitting subscribe, give me a thumbs up, let me know in the comments where you are watching from, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!